Hey, I'm Butterfly.
Hey, I'm Firefly.
Have you ever wondered if we aren't being told the truth about everything?
What have we been lied to about? Join us as we have conversations and ask questions about everything. We invite you to keep an open mind and consider the unfathomable.
Let's break the chains that enslave our minds. Come on, let's go down the rabbit hole.
What's up, Butterfly?
Hey, Firefly, what's up?
What's up? Dude, we're going to do another episode. This
No,
is cool.
I know.
So, today, we've kind of touched on the end of civilizations before,
I think we
but
did an episode on the end of
yeah,
civilization.
that was one of our best
It
ones.
was really good.
But we're going to talk about a specific aspect that you've been thinking
I know,
about like a common denominator with end of civilizations.
totally. Well, and I think I don't know, I have a feeling that we might burst some bubbles and ruffle some feathers because we're kind of like
Well,
feather rufflers,
I told you that one episode,
aren't
like
we?
when I was a little kid, I used to like to go pop the bubbles.
I know.
Like the girls would be blowing the bubbles, and I would run around and pop them.
That is so mean. I would have been mad at you.
I
If
know,
I would have
but
been mad at you if I
I'm
knew you
thinking
did.
it was kind of like my actions were like a metaphor,
They were like
a premonition.
a premonition of you being a bubble burster
Because I'm
later
going
in
to be a
life.
bubble burster. Because you know what I've realized is I hate the media,
Yeah,
and the media creates bubbles.
totally.
And what we're going to do today is
Is
probably burst some
we're
bubbles.
gonna burst the bubbles.
But what we've also talked about though is once everybody bursts their bubble, we're going to have unity,
I
and
know.
everybody won't be fighting at each other's throats.
Well, I think we kind of think that we sort of have to burst some bubbles because it sort of like wakes people up. You know what I mean? It kind of gets them out of their
That's
blue
what
pill
happened.
behavior,
That's what has to happen.
which is,
That's
kind
it.
of cool.
A blue pill is pain management.
Hmm.
I think that's what blue pill is. I'm starting to realize that people go on a blue pill because the truth is just too painful and gnarly.
Yeah,
Can I just have another one of those and go to the cruise? I'm going to go on a cruise.
yeah,
They don't want a deal.
right.
And so we come up and say, no, but you got a deal.
You got a
I
deal.
know it sucks, but here's some soma that you can take with it. But here is the truth.
Like some methadone.
You can have some methadone. It's
We'll,
not as
we'll wean you off the blue pill.
we'll wean you off the soma.
Well, we're kind of hoping that maybe we're sort of like methadone, like we can kind
Yeah,
of wean people off the blue pill a little bit, right?
but sometimes people try methadone, it doesn't work.
I
And then
know.
they just go back to doing heroin even more.
But anyway, what we're going to talk about is and my question is debauchery a slippery slope to the end of civilization?
Yeah.
Because you know what I'm seeing, and they say I've read this that, well, I guess most or all civilizations last approximately about 250 years. And our civilization is kind of like almost at that point. And
Yeah.
when the civilizations kind of start nearing their end, like before they fall, like the Roman Empire, they're filled with debauchery.
Yep.
And that's what happened then. Like everything was just, debaucherous. They were having orgies and,
Yep.
you know, and I'm starting to see that in our civilization. If you think about it, like,
Totally.
you know, like a lot of the movies and TV shows and stuff, they're showing things that are way more debaucherous and risque than they ever would have like 20 years ago. Like
Like
this
you'd never see a dude's you know what on a
on a
show.
TV show.
But
Yeah.
now it's like,
It's
hey,
like
come on,
whatever.
whatever.
Or
Like, dude, if they would have had that on a show like Leave It to Beaver, some dude's a schlong, dude, that would have been like women would have had to like go into therapy for that.
yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Or like
Little kids would have been freaking out.
all the lesbian sex. There's lesbian sex in everything now.
To
And
some
they
people, that's like appalling and disgusting, but to us, it's like whatever.
Yeah, I think people are they're putting more and more of this stuff out there. And I think it's sort of a way to, well, we know that like the media, they want to socially engineer us by what they're showing us. So I think they want people to be more debaucherous, more risque.
Yeah.
And so they're putting it out there. And it also, it makes you become jaded, and like the more you see weird stuff, the less shocked you are when you do see it, you
Yeah,
know? And
that's true. That's
so
part of the
it
conditioning.
makes you numb to it. You're not as like, oh my
Like, remember Howard Stern?
God.
Remember back in the 90s? Like, he was a shock jock.
Right.
And like the stuff he was saying was like
Shocking.
I remember one time he made a girl orgasm by doing like noises through the microphone, and it vibrated through a speaker and it made her have
Oh
an
God.
orgasm on the radio.
Wow.
That was like shocking. Like everyone was like, holy cow. But now we realize that, he stayed in his house for 5 years because he's in the cult. You know, he's in the culture club. So what if that was all totally scripted? And it was preparing people, hey, by the way, we're going to get you used to. You ever heard that term, the Overton window?
Yeah.
What's the Overton window? The Overton window is those things that are acceptable moves.
Right.
And the Overton window has moved over closer to debauchery and total just decline of civilization.
Exactly. That's what I see happening. And I see, a lot of people falling on the bandwagon to that. And we've talked in some of our previous episodes about like, tattoos and like the big piercings and stuff. And we feel like that's a follower behavior.
Totally. It's
Because and
debaucherous.
it's like I think when you see people that are really like covered in that stuff, it's like they want to be weirder than the other person. They want to be more extreme. And I think the media is
Yeah.
pushing the idea that
You've mentioned that a
the
lot.
more extreme you are, like I guess you're more of a rebel or something. But I think that's following what they want you to do, you
Yeah,
know?
and you've mentioned that a few times, and I just thought of a kind of had an epiphany about that, because I've always said there is something about tattoos that speaks to the end of civilization. There's a correlation there. And you've always said there's this drive to be weirder than the other dude, and the drive to be
Yeah,
psychoer and crazier.
more
And
extreme.
the media does promote contention and rivalry. Have you
Right,
noticed?
right.
Like they want us all competing with one another. It's keep up with the Joneses
Mm,
and exceed the Joneses.
exceed.
Because what happened? Tiger Woods' submarine was 7 feet longer than Jeff Bezos. You know,
That's the problem.
so he had to go get another submarine because
Yeah,
that's unacceptable to them.
right.
Because they're driven to be contentious and rivalrous. But what we're saying is love.
Hmm.
Because when you love, you're not competing. You're happy that somebody has something
Right.
because there's no scarcity. We all can love and
Yeah.
we all can have.
And if you have a star on there, it doesn't mean I have to have
I
one.
don't have
You
to.
enjoy yours, and I'll just be the way I
I'm a firefly.
am.
You're a butterfly.
Right.
That's fine. It's okay. But no, they're like, no, 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 no. But what's better? Is it a firefly? Is it better than a butterfly? No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
They do all these like value assessments. And you ever notice like they'll be like, they're the best actor of all time. They're the best guitarist of all time. It's like, well,
That year.
that's like, yeah, that's like a subjective opinion.
Yeah.
The best guitarist of all time, like, Jimmy Page plays incredible guitar, but so does Eddie Van Halen. And you can't say, well, who's better?
Yeah.
It's just they're both incredible. Like
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think, what we've seen over the last few years with like the whole transy thing, getting more and more extreme, where now it's like acceptable for a, teenager to go have their body parts chopped off and stuff like that.
and what did our city council say?
Yeah, our own city council wants us to be a sanctuary city to like protect those people.
Well, we protect cockroaches.
Yeah.
We don't let them get ice rated,
Hmm.
but we also let 14-year-olds chop their tits off without telling their mom.
Yeah. So, I mean, what could be more debaucherous and weird than that? I mean, that doesn't even, if you just,
Yeah.
oh my gosh,
There is.
so you're reading my mind.
No
So,
way.
okay,
That's kind of weird.
I have, I have a theory, and I think this is going to really ruffle some feathers.
Let's hear it.
Okay. Um, I've talked to you about this before. I have this theory that I think probably about maybe 95% of lesbians are that they're in that type of relationship because they've had some kind of bad or traumatizing experience around men. And I
Of course.
and I think that they feel safer with another woman.
I think also they're like, no, you know what? I'm mad now. And every time a man wants me, I'm just going to say no
Yeah,
because it hurts them.
I think it's something like it's a trauma that they have dealt with. And I think maybe about 90% of gay men, or maybe more, actually probably more, 95, I'd say. I think my theory is that they they need something much more kinky and much more debaucherous than just regular heterosexual sex. They need it to be like more strange and more kinky. So, what's more kinky than having?
You know what it
That's
is?
what
You know what
you
it
know.
is? It's a what we're kind of talking about here is a slippery slope.
It's a slippery slope.
So what happens is you start off with sexual immorality, but then you become a reprobate.
Uh,
That's the word.
well,
A reprobate is means that you have like sick sexual desires now. So like you're like watching horses do women and stuff, and like
what
you're like, dude, this gets me off.
that's
It
what I'm
gets
thinking.
worse and worse and
Yeah.
worse. It's a slippery
I mean,
slope.
because we're in our society now, we are conditioned to accept all of this kind of behavior. And I am, I mean, I know I'm ruffling feathers right now, and this is just my theory, but I think that, we've been conditioned to accept these things. And now all of that stuff is so normal that I think the next step might actually be like people are going to start having sex with animals.
Well, I think it's a progression that might be historic because Nero married his horse.
Oh.
I mean, I think once you go down the road of debauchery, it's kind of like driving out to Vegas. Like Baker is bestiality. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like Las Vegas is when you finally get to Sodom and Gomorrah. You know what I'm saying? And then Sodom and Gomorrah didn't work out well for them. What happened to Sodom and Gomorrah?
Right.
It got like hail and brimstone, fire and brimstone.
Mm.
So I think Sodom and Gomorrah is a historical example of what happens, you know?
Yeah. So anyway, what I'm saying is we're witnessing right now what's been happening over the last several years of people going down these slippery slopes and these debaucherous paths, and like politicians promoting it and making like actual laws for it and stuff like that.
Like that
That
guy up in San Francisco, Wiener, remember him?
Yeah,
He was like, well, no, 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 no. We're gonna make it so, if a man has sex with a minor, it's just that's his sexual preference.
yeah, all the pedophilia, all of this stuff, they want to make all these things legal. And why is that? It's because it's just we're on this path of debauchery that's getting progressively worse. And it seems to have sped up a lot over the last just maybe 5 to 10 years. Um,
It's driven by the media.
it's driven by the media, and they're pushing stuff that, 15, even 10 to 15 years ago would have been considered completely unheard of and unacceptable, you know?
It was fringe, and now the Overton window has shifted. So
Exactly.
those things that were fringe, like debaucherous, now are kind of mainstream.
They're mainstream. Like, you can't turn on basically any kind of TV show now without there's a gay couple. Now you turn on a show and there's two women totally having sex. They're naked and they show practically everything, which would have never been shown on TV a
And
few years ago. And it's just getting more and more debaucherous.
people with 1950s values are going to be appalled at something like that. And it's going to be something that we used to have decency standards that we wouldn't allow that
Right.
in our society.
Right.
Now there is no decency.
There isn't. So that Overton window has shifted. So that's no longer considered outrageous or unacceptable. That's just fine to watch on a TV show. So I think like it's just getting progressively worse. And happens when you have a slippery slope.
You demise.
Yeah,
It's your
you
demise,
slip down that slope right into your demise, you
and
know?
demise sucks.
I know, and I feel like we are kind of on a slippery, debaucherous
I
slope.
wouldn't say kind of.
We are.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
You know,
we're
there's another
sliding
aspect of
right
it.
into the Liberator.
You know, there's another aspect of it.
What?
Ozempic.
Oh,
You know why Ozempic?
right. You keep bringing up Ozempic, but you're right.
You know why Ozempic? Because Ozempic is
It is.
immoral, bottomless pit.
Yeah,
You're an immoral, bottomless pit. You have no morality. You stand for
no
nothing,
control.
and you have no control over your desires. You take Ozempic because you'll inject Gila monster venom into your stomach in order to
Go
lose
eat at
five
the
pounds.
buffet 5
You
times
don't
a
you don't control yourself around food. You don't exercise. You just go inject Gila monster venom. That is like a symptom of the universe. That's like the end of civilization, like a harbinger, right?
Right.
Because you look at that, and that was kind of similar to, like, you brought up the Romans. The Romans used to have these big orgies, but
Mhm,
they would have these banquets with a bunch of food, and they had
mhm.
a praetorium where they would go and make themselves puke
Yeah,
so they
so
could
they
go
could go
eat
eat
more.
more. So that was their Ozempic.
That was,
Oh
oh
my
my God,
god.
that was their Ozempic. That was
You're
early
kidding
Ozempic.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so Ozempic
totally.
is like Praetorium.
Yeah,
So that's,
totally.
because
So
what it comes down to is when you have people that become immoral, bottomless pits, now they're on a slippery slope to their demise.
right.
That's where we're at.
Yeah, and we're people are taking Ozempic because that's like the vomitorium. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
And here, what's your typical Ozempic user doing? They're saying, I do not want to diet and exercise. And if I can't control my weight, I'm going to go ahead and use this
Toxic,
pharmaceutical product.
this mystery concoction.
And who knows what's in that?
Yeah. Well, they say,
Mind control, maybe,
yeah, absolutely.
and also long-term physiological effects. Probably gives you turbo cancer
Yeah.
in your stomach.
I heard that it paralyzes your stomach, and
Sounds good.
they've actually found people there's like food that stays in people's stomach for like
Oh,
years
you know what that reminds me of? Did you remember when we were kids?
when you would swallow gum and
Yeah,
they said it
the
would
guy.
stick to your Is that what you were thinking?
And then, yeah, and then, yeah, how'd you know? How did you know that?
I know,
So
I'm
that's
on
exactly what I was
fire
thinking of. Yeah, like, so, like, when, remember, they used to say, "Don't swallow your gum," and I'll be like, "Oh, I just did," and they'd be like, "Well,
it's
that's
gonna
gonna
stay in your stomach for 7 years.
7 years."
Not 6.5 or
No,
8, but
takes
7.
exactly 7 years to digest that. We figured that out. It's kind of like 200 million-year-old bones.
Yeah. Oh my
So,
gosh.
anyways, no, this is a very good episode because what we have to realize is we
We
have
are
gone
on
over the precipice.
Yeah,
We're in free fall
we're in free fall.
of end of civilization,
Yeah,
and people are blue pilled, so they're not snapping out of it because we could stop it.
right.
It's
I
kind of
mean,
like,
what?
well, I was gonna say it's kind of like Fat Steve at the
Yeah,
buffet. We could stop it. Like, someone come and say, "Hey, we've hit an iceberg. We gotta go to the lifeboats right now." And Steve, what does he say?
he's like, "No, I just where's the roast beef?"
Where's the roast beef? I want some fondue. I said, "Can you leave me alone? Please leave me alone right now. I just want to have fondue and roast beef." Well, that's what people are saying when I come up and say, or we come up and say, "Hey, you know what? We're on a slippery slope to the destruction of our civilization because we've become immoral, bottomless pits." And they go, "Excuse me, excuse me. I'm in the process of pleasuring myself. I have no desire to learn this data."
Yeah, so we are probably on free fall heading to our demise to the La Brea tar pits.
I mean,
We can I
it's kind of a bad mood. It's kind of a black pill, but I don't know. It's like obvious.
It is obvious. I think most people who um who can see what's happening, realize how immoral and how debaucherous all of this stuff is. I think most people do see that. So I think we just need to be vigilant about not going along with it. We have to realize these things are not normal. It's not normal for a teenager to go or anybody to be go chopping off their body parts and trying to become a different sex, you know?
Do you remember the guy who refused to take his soma in Brave New World? And he was like an outsider, and he lived like on an island somewhere, and he wasn't part of the whole society.
Mm,
He was like outside of the society. And then he had to go and talk to like the main guy in the culture club. He had to go have an interview with him. They don't want you to not be on Soma,
no.
because if you're not on Soma, you're gonna if you're not on Soma, you're gonna try to start a revolution. I think that's how it works.
Well, and that's like what they've been trying to prevent this whole time. They didn't
Yeah.
want a revolution with the cooties fiasco. They don't want a revolution. They want to keep people subdued and sedated and controlled, because if everybody just like stands up to them, all of their plans don't work. And I think that's what people need to realize.
Yeah, because if you think about it, how is the media driving this debaucherous downward spiral? They're driving it through suggestion.
Hmm.
And if you have people who aren't on Soma, they might be impervious to the suggestions.
They're not as suggestible.
They're not as suggestible. But the people who are blue pilled, they are very suggestible.
Yeah. And, we've mentioned this before too, but we should probably mention it again. We think that, a lot of the pharmaceuticals, I think we're going to need a code word for that. And like the pokey pokes and all of those things have stuff in them that is mind control. And when you are being mind controlled,
Want to call pharmaceuticals happy sauce?
happy sauce.
I don't know. We could try that
Yeah.
because I do think we need a code for that.
I know, because it seems like when
You say you
when the
say
Indian
that.
dudes hear us say that, they ban our
Excuse
show
me,
for like a
excuse
week.
me. Butterfly? We've told you this before. You brought up a certain name of a component before, a compound before, and we had to warn you. You may speak with reverence in your heart, but if you're critical, we're going to flat you and we're going to shun you.
I
Now
know.
continue.
They don't want us talking about that stuff.
So I
So,
was thinking happy sauce maybe.
okay, we'll try that one out. We'll try it
Well,
out today.
so I think that's what I'm kind of thinking. I think when remember this is the concept that kind of keeps reoccurring to me.
Okay.
Um remember was suturing into the narrative?
Yeah, you talked
So
about that. You learned in your film class.
yeah, so when you go watch a movie, you completely get like sucked into the narrative.
Right.
And then
Oh,
go ahead.
oh my gosh. Maybe this is where you were going with this, but bring us into the narrative that they want us to be in.
Yes.
Is that what you were going to say?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
That's how you get blue pilled.
Yeah.
You get blue pilled by getting sutured into the narrative.
Yeah.
So
This
like
is where they want us.
so use the analogy of a movie theater.
Okay.
So I go sit down and it's a crowded theater. It's back when we were kids. Remember you used to go to the theater and it was crowded.
I know.
There was people everywhere.
Yeah.
So you're sitting down and you're right next to some fat dude, but you don't even remember that fat dude after about 10 minutes into the movie. You're not even thinking about him unless he's making weird noises and grabbing your popcorn. So basically, and even if you have to come out and like tell him, hey, dude, you smell bad and move over, you still go back into the narrative.
Right.
So once you get sutured into the narrative, now you're watching Ralph Fiennes or whoever, and you become one of the characters.
Yeah.
Actually, that's how gnarly it is.
Yeah.
You actually become that character.
You become part in the movie.
You're in the movie.
Yeah.
So you are now no longer completely cognizant of your surroundings. And in that state, what are you? Suggestive.
Yes.
Because what they say is they've done studies with people. Once you are sutured into the narrative, your brain waves slow way down. You're not using your brain because you're not thinking. Now it's guiding you. You're not thinking. And so they can do subliminal and background messaging.
Mm-hmm.
And it's subconscious. And so subconsciously, now you're receiving messaging
Right.
at this lower part of your like id. You're like getting id messaging, not ego messaging, but id. And that's where they're driving behavior.
I think you're right.
And so then that's an analogy. How are they doing that with, because not many people are going to the movies now, But
But they're watching Netflix and,
okay,
you know.
but I was thinking more like CNN,
Mhm. Oh,
MSNBC,
yeah.
Fox News,
Yeah, all of it.
InfoWars,
All of it.
and Stu Peters.
Yeah.
All of that is bubbles.
Mhm.
What happens with them is they grab you because some people are real news addicts. Like they just are obsessed with
Yeah,
the news.
obsessed. And the more like outrageous and like
They love
more
that.
crisis and stuff that they announce, the more excited they get.
And they're in a bubble and it's always us versus them.
Hmm.
And that bubble is they're sutured into it.
Right.
So they've lost touch with reality. They're in the narrative. And Alex Jones is all they're living. And
Right.
they're living that narrative.
Right. And then what about like TV shows and Netflix shows, when they put those narratives out there with like the debaucherous, immoral behavior.
Like the hunting wives.
Yeah,
Like
you're
the hunting wives. Now you are in that show and maybe you're adopting those values.
I think that's what they want. They certainly want you to think that, this is exciting
Yeah.
and, maybe more fun than the life that you have. And look at if you behave like these people, you might have a more exciting life, and it's normal.
Yeah. So I'm being debaucherous. My marriage is ridiculous. I'm having love trysts on the side,
With multiple people.
but that's exciting. And that's a good way of dealing with our miserable dystopia.
Right.
That's, I think, what they're suggesting. So, first of all,
That's a blue pill.
that's a blue pill. That's what they're saying in that show. The narrative, when you get sutured in, it's, well, just accept that our life is a ridiculous dystopia. Our civilization is a ridiculous dystopia. And deal with it by being just like kind of a slut. Like, just be a hot slut. I think that's kind of what the message is.
Right.
If you're gonna go down, just be hot. But wait. We can go to the lifeboats. No, just be hot. Just be hot and have sex with
And
Brad.
do like the behavior that we're doing.
We have sex with 18-year-old dudes. And they come
Drugs
over
and
and we do Xanax. And that's what we do. That's how you deal with it. Don't try to fix things.
yeah.
Because when you're a blue pill, you're not going to come out. That's what happens to the guy in Brave New World. He gets put out on an island. Like, you're not allowed to participate. You can't play in any of their reindeer games. Because what you're doing is saying, no, I don't want the soma. No, we need to make changes. Dude, this is wrong. No, this is horrible. Don't you want more for your life? And they don't want people saying that to people.
No, they don't want people asking questions.
Because you know what people like you and me do? We go up to these walkers and we go, don't you want more for your life? I love you. I want you to be happy. I want you to be filled with joy and hope and fulfilled. And I want you to be strong and feel good about yourself. And they're like, they don't want that. They don't want that.
They want another blue pill.
They want another blue pill
Yes.
because, thing about being red pilled is you got to be good. You got to be in good shape.
Yeah.
You got to be strong.
You can't become Eeyore. You
Can't
can't
become
be a
Eeyore.
Debbie Downer and like start like taking a black pill.
You can't be
You
in a moral
know.
bottomless pit.
No.
You can't be in a moral bottomless pit.
No.
And there's a lot of temptation to become in a moral bottomless pit
It's everywhere.
because the media turns you into the La Brea tar pit.
Mhm.
The La Brea tar pit is right under the Hollywood sign.
And they keep showing this stuff so much so that just like I said earlier, it sort of desensitizes you to it and you're jaded and it becomes like mainstream and no big deal. And then you start to think, oh, maybe I should just behave like this too because, whatever. It's more exciting. It's a blue pill.
Well, it's also um, Marilyn Manson used to use this word when he was talking about his fans.
Hmm.
Because they just like start wearing black and like you take a pretty girl and she'd become a Marilyn Manson fan and now she kind of looks gothy and it's
Yeah.
like and her dad's mad. So they're talking to Marilyn about that, and he was like, well, I think people really want something they can identify with.
Hmm.
People want to identify with something
Right.
because people are looking for an identity. People want to say, this is who I am, and that's good. But the media is going, choose one of these.
Yeah. These are your choices.
Choose one of these.
These are the good ones.
And then they go, and I hate to say it, but they become it.
Yeah.
that people become what the media tells them to become as their identity.
Right.
Like some people, I wear a mask. And it's like, that has nothing to do with the disease. No, I wear my mask because this is my identity. I hate anti vaxxers, you know?
Right.
And that's a completely media driven identity
Totally.
that they're adopting. That's what the media wants you to do. They want you to identify with Margot in The Hunting Wives. They
Mhm.
want you to identify with her. They want you to kind of share her worldview, maybe have sympathy for her. Like
Mhm.
she's a sympathetic character.
Right.
She's a total whore, but she's sympathetic. But so that's how you're supposed to do. And you're supposed to be like, you know what? Maybe I'm going to, in my own way, just kind of bleed my morality a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm going to bleed my morality. I think what I'm starting to see in all the media, because remember our last episode, we talked about um, are all A-listers, did they all sell their soul to Satan?
Right.
So what we kind of came to the conclusion is that you don't get to have a platform unless you sell your soul to Satan. So therefore, Satan controls all of our culture because you're not allowed to say anything unless you've capitulated to him. So he sanctions everything. He goes, yes, yes, good, good, good. He sanctions it. So it's all satanic messaging and it's all identify with this and bleed your morality this way. All the music is saying that, all the movies are saying that, all the Netflix shows are saying that.
Mhm.
So that's the slippery slope to the end of civilization. And it's all done through suggestion and blue pill. That's what I think it is.
It is. It's social engineering because this is where they want us to go. Why do you okay, why do you think they want our civilization to end?
Well, I think
I
that
have some theories on that.
well, tell me your theories. I have theories, but I want to hear
Let's hear
yours.
yours.
Okay, okay, I'll go first. My theory is that Western civilization is the predominant civilization now.
Mm-hmm.
It has emerged as the preeminent civilization of all time, in my opinion, and I think there's a lot of fact that that supports that theory. Western civilization was the preeminent civilization. And what's the ethos of Western civilization? It's predicated on the Magna Carta and the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And what are some of the common precepts? You have freedom, you have human rights that are inalienable, that were given to you by God, and you have the right to freedom of speech. You have the right to own a gun. You have the right to self determination. They don't have the right to invade your privacy and surveil you without cause. That's in the way. Because what do they want? They want a digital prison. They want to corral you into ghettos and exterminate you.
Right. Yeah, I mean, pretty much I'm thinking right along those same lines. Like I think um that people have gotten a little too much power for what they like. And they, I think the culture club might be feeling like they're losing control a little bit.
Mhm.
And so they want like a reset. And you know how they've talked about like the great reset and all that? I don't think that's just like some little term that they're using. I think they actually want a reset. And I think this has happened many times over history. You know that podcast that I love listening to, My Lunch Break.
Yeah.
Yeah, he talks about that a lot, like how there's been all of these civilizations through history that were way more advanced than what we have now. So it's obvious that there were civilizations that were doing all kinds of things that were way more than what they are telling us what happened. Like how did they build these cathedrals and these castles and things like with no power tools, you know what I mean?
I see what you're saying.
And everything, all of these things were supposedly there were fires that took everything down, and then they had to rebuild these places. Well, we're seeing all these fires happening around us now too, and
Mhm.
I mean this all starts happening towards the end of civilizations too. So I think
Interesting.
that they're staging another reset.
Could be. And we talked about the Cracker Barrel thing.
Hmm.
Remember how they're erasing history?
Erasing history. Yeah, they don't want us to know our real history because we would know and we more people would start asking questions like, yeah, how did they build those castles with no power tools? They had donkeys like carrying the men were like hauling these stones up,
We've been lied
huge.
to.
We've been lied to forever. And I think whether you want to refer to it as Satan, I mean, there's definitely something satanic that's ruling and controlling all of this in the
And
culture
now,
club.
not only are they destroying the information of our history, but the physical buildings of our history.
Hmm. They're
So they're erasing the physical aspect of history too. They don't want you to go see the Notre Dame Cathedral.
No, they want to get rid of all of that because then it's not there. You can't see it. You can't ask any questions. Um, it's like they, I think it was a few years ago, there was a big push to like knock down a bunch of historical statues
Yep.
because they were saying, oh, it was racist or something.
Yep.
Well, that's all history too.
Yep.
So by tearing those things down, you're erasing it. And we talked in another previous episode about how, I think it was episode 79, how that was the Cracker Barrel episode actually. Um, how they've taken, like the Land O'Lakes butter, they took the Indian girl off
Yeah.
and Aunt Jemima, they took her off. So what is that doing? They appeal to those groups by saying, "Oh, we're protecting you because this is racist," but actually what they're doing is they're erasing them. They're erasing those groups by, now that the Indian girl is not on there anymore. She's gone. Now a whole generation will never remember her. And what was their significance? I don't know, but like they're erasing those groups from our
Makes me think
history.
about how we're dumbing down our kids too. Like you
Hmm.
go talk to the kids these days and you ask them, "Where's Iraq?" They don't know.
No,
And you go, "When was World War II?" They don't know. And they're graduating from high school not knowing.
they don't know basic math.
Yeah.
Or even like, I think a lot of kids can barely read.
So that's part of the end of
Yeah.
civilization too.
Yeah.
I think
If we're dumber, we're not going to be asking these important questions.
maybe Satan doesn't want civilization at all.
Right.
Like civilization doesn't work for him, because if there's civilization, there's order, there's law and order. He doesn't want that. He
No.
wants chaos.
Right.
And if there's civilization, there's self-determination. He doesn't want that. You're a slave.
And I think so. When I think of Satan, do you know what the first image that comes to my mind? I'm not kidding you.
From South Park.
No, this is like I'm not kidding. The first thing that comes to my mind is Hillary Clinton.
Hillary, I don't blame you. She's definitely one of the suits that he
I know.
wears.
So when I think of Satan, I think of like really bad people who were running our country, the culture club.
Yeah.
I think of that and maybe there's something evil controlling those people for sure. But I think those are all kind of like Satan. They're like
Well, you know what I noticed
Satan.
about you? Because and this is fine. I accept the Bible. You question the Bible.
Right.
You're kind of like David Icke, where you kind of see the same thing that I see, but you call it differently. David Icke says an off-world entity is at the center of the web,
Right.
and all of the minions take their orders. We both agree that's the rollout.
Right.
It's top down.
Right.
The rollout's top down and it's global.
And you can see it everywhere because government, big corporations, whatever, it all comes down from the top down to the little mini megalomaniac micromanagers.
That's exactly what they are. They're mini megalomaniac psychopaths that micromanage. And that's how it works at the ground level, so that you're not allowed to make a movie. You're not allowed to be a podcaster. We can be podcasters, but the Indian guys are like, go ahead, you can say what you
You
want.
can talk all you want.
All you want, go ahead. You will get no followers and you will get no play. But that's okay. But that's okay, because we're just going to say what we're saying. I still think we could potentially be reaching millions of people, and they're just not going to give us credit,
Exactly.
because it's the Streisand effect. They're going to say, don't watch this, and then it's going to explode.
Yeah,
I think that's what's going to happen to
I
us.
think so
But
too.
anyways, my point is that they are micromanaging everything, and it's all top down, and they want to get rid of America and Western
So there's
civilization.
a reason why we're seeing what we're seeing on TV and stuff. There's a reason for that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
like, and we talked about that in the last episode because you had this kind of you had this kind of notion that, hey, some of this stuff might be intentional. I think because when I was a film major, what I kind of learned is if you're seeing something in a film, it's intentional.
Right.
If there's an object there, if the person said something, if there's a costume, if there's an allusion to something, it's not intentional. Every movie, it's very, very specific. And what we've also talked about is once they sell their soul to be able to go make a movie, Satan goes, okay, yes, 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 but you need to include these things.
Mhm.
So those things are getting
It's part
included.
of the deal.
It's part of the deal. And that's worldwide. And you're not allowed to go make a movie unless you've done that. So there is no, oh, that wasn't supposed to be in there, or that was just an accident or a coincidence.
Right. Yeah. What we're seeing is it's the message that they want us to receive.
Yep, it's the
Yeah.
message. Like, think about the hunting wives. Like, what are some of the takeaways from watching that show? Like, when you watch that show, you think, you know what? Margot's so hot and she's so cool. And you know what?
I want to be just like
I want to be like that.
her.
You know what? She rules the roost. She rules the roost. And look at everything is so fake, and all the politicians are fake, and all the Christians and the pastors, they're all fake. So that's morbidly depressing. So let's just be a slut, be hot. That's the takeaway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's important. That's what they want you to have the takeaway of. And that's why everybody's kind of like, we live in a dystopia and there should be a sense of urgency to turn the ship around.
Yeah, right.
But people are like,
Like, I don't know. I'm gonna have
what
another blue pill.
what do you think people are focused on? They're really focused on how their body looks. They're really focused on how much money they have. They're really focused on what other people think of them. That shouldn't be what our focus is. Our focus should be like, whoa, 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 whoa. We've gone over a cliff as a civilization. We need to not become Mad Max beyond Thunderdome. That's what's kind of right around the corner
I
if we don't steer the ship back.
We need to steer the ship back. So what's the
White
white
pill?
pill?
White pill. Excuse me, butterfly. You are not able to convey white pill.
We don't talk white pill.
It is not allowed. There will be no white pill. You can do black pill.
Or blue pill.
Blue pill is preferable. But we'll even allow you to do some black pill. You can do black pill. You can be Stu Peters. And you can be Amazing Polly. But you cannot do red pill and white pill. See, you have made a cocktail that we do not sell. So that's what we sell. We sell red pill and white pill.
Right.
What's the white pill for this one? Don't become an immoral bottomless pit. That's kind of the predicate in a lot of our episodes.
It is.
Don't be it's terrifying. Don't allow yourself to become a moral bottomless
I
pit.
think that's what they want because if you just go down the slippery slope to debauchery, you become an immoral bottomless pit and you slide right into that liberator pit that we talk about all the time. And if everybody does that and they're getting more and more people on board, that's the downfall of civilization.
What are some of the consequences of everyone becoming an immoral bottomless pit? No marriage is going to work. What happens in Hunting Wives? All of the marriages are miserable.
Right.
Every marriage is completely miserable. What also happens when society becomes an immoral bottomless pit? No corporations have ethics.
No,
None of them.
no,
What also happens when a society becomes immoral bottomless pits? Every politician takes a bribe.
totally.
What else happens when a country becomes immoral bottomless pits? Every shepherd of a church becomes a corrupt wolf in sheep's clothing.
Yeah.
What else happens when you become immoral bottomless pits? Your education system becomes a complete brainwashing factory. It's not about educating the kids. What else happens when you become
Entertainment.
immoral bottomless pits? Crime skyrockets. People have no problem with rape. and theft
Right.
and bullying.
I mean, all of these things are like sort of happening everywhere. Like they're
Yep,
locking up shampoo at the grocery stores now, even where we live. It's
that's right.
crazy.
Or
Like
like
people are stealing shampoo.
what happened in Tombstone, Arizona, back when Wyatt Earp, there was roving gangs that controlled everything. That happens when you become immoral bottomless pits, because immoral bottomless pits stand for nothing. So no one's going to stand up to the mafia and the gang and the bullies.
Right. So I think what the white pill is that we need to have morals, you know, morals are important and we shouldn't become bottomless pits. And even though they're selling these ideas on like the shows that we watch and everything, we should realize that that's a social engineering tactic that they're trying,
Well,
right?
what I notice about you and me is we can watch Hunting Wives and not get blue pill. We can appreciate it. It's entertaining. It's fun to watch Margot. She's funny and she's rad. I don't mind. I'm entertained by Margot. But I'm not going to adopt Margot's value system. Okay? I can separate myself from Margot. I can be like, Margot, you're rad, but I don't drink your Kool Aid. I don't adopt your worldview. That's what you have to do. Do not allow the media to
To
inform your behavior.
and drive your behavior.
Driving your behavior. Because guess who's at the helm? Who is it?
Larry Fink.
Larry Fink. Who does Larry Fink?
He wants all of his little finklets to follow.
In case everybody's not up to speed, who's Larry Fink? Butterfly.
He's oh my God, I'm having a brain freeze. He's where was he from?
He's the CEO of
Yeah,
BlackRock.
I was just thinking CEO of Earth.
Well, that is.
That's kind of what he is.
No. That's his real title.
Yeah.
When he meets with
I
Satan,
mean, he's kind of like Satan's one of his right
and
hand.
Satan goes, yes, good. He's an inner sanctum.
Right.
He's my inner sanctum. I think now I'm starting to kind of see Satan's inner sanctum. It's got Peter Thiel.
Yeah, Peter Thiel.
Peter Thiel's inner sanctum. And Elon is jealous of Peter Thiel.
Yeah,
That's how I kind of
he
see
wants to be in the in
it.
crowd.
Elon's like, Satan. And Satan's like, no, but Peter Thiel has had his evil dials modified. He goes all the way to
Dials
15.
go to 15.
Your dials only go to 11. That's how many kids you have. So you need to have your dials
He's working on
modified.
that though.
He's probably like, yeah. No, I got a chip. I'm gonna get a chip. But then the either Daniel Day-Lewis or AI Alex Jones, inner sanctum.
Uh-huh.
Alex Jones is a cult member, is a cult leader. Alex Jones listeners are cult members,
Culture Club.
and they are all Culture Club, and they are all Cobalt Blue Pill.
Right.
So Alex Jones is inner sanctum. Trump,
Inner sanctum.
inner sanctum. Satan emails Trump daily.
Yeah. In fact, that's interesting. I wonder if some of those tweets come from Satan himself.
Satan told him. Satan probably sent him an email and says, this is what you're going to tweet on
this.
truth.com. And then, so Larry Fink, Donald Trump, Peter Thiel, Alex Jones. Those are for sure inner sanctum. And there's some other, like
There's
Chuck
some
Schumer, there's some, but the power people right now,
I don't think Chuck Schumer's in the inner sanctum.
he's in the Culture Club.
He's in the Culture Club for sure.
Anybody who's got dual citizenship with that country from 1948,
Yeah.
they're Culture Club.
Well, I think that's why they get dual citizenship because he thinks that's going to get him points to get into Satan's inner sanctum.
You know what? Chuck Schumer probably wanted to be like Trump.
Yeah.
But Trump is a better salesman than Chuck Schumer.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because Chuck Schumer, he had kind of a bad look. Like, he was trying to barbecue and look like a regular guy.
Oh, I remember that. So late. He put the cheese on the raw burgers.
You're like, clearly never barbecue, dude. You clearly have people do those things for you.
That's not even like I don't know. That just seems kind of retarded. Like
He's a retard.
that's not even
He puts
smart.
a raw patty on the grill and then puts a slab of cheese right on it.
And
It's
he's like,
like,
"Look, I'm barbecuing."
dude, you just blew it. I don't even want to eat that now.
How are you going to flip that burger?
The cheese. I know you blew it, bro. I'm bummed now. I'm leaving your barbecue. And then he's drinking a beer, and it's probably like near beer. He's like, it's just these people try to look like humans.
Right.
Kamala does that too.
I don't think they're human.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what's going on because why do they need so much DNA?
Exactly.
So that's like open up another can of
I think we
worms.
might have to go down that
We'll
rabbit hole in
we'll
another
do that again.
episode.
But today was really good.
It was really
It was
good.
such a good idea
Yeah.
because, we've talked about end of civilization, but today we kind of unpacked some of the rudiments of it,
Yeah.
and it really is predicated on morality.
Mm-hmm. I know. I think that was good.
Well, what's the slippery slope? The slippery slope is once you start practicing sexual immorality, pretty soon you're having sex with horses. So I don't know. It kind of works out that way. Yeah. And then, they also start end of civilization also has a lot of babies getting killed.
Oh, I know.
That's kind of like a common predicate.
It is.
And so we get debaucherous, but then we kind of have no value of human life and murder people, no problem.
Right. Yeah.
So the white pill?
Let's not do that.
That's pretty simple. Yeah. I think we'll just leave it there. That pretty much sums it up. Let's not. Anything else?
Okay, that was good.
You have anything else you want to say?
No.
It was so good seeing
Good
you.
to see you.
Oh my gosh.
I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye.